Hi guys, Random here, back with another ramblings. Now, a few days ago I put up on my Facebook page a request for people to ask questions. Basically I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about, but not quite enough for a video. So yeah, I asked people if they've got any ideas for a bit of a rambling. And Lucas Litwin, beg your pardon, I butchered your name, Lucas, has asked, I'll shorten the question down. Basically he's asking whether, when virtual reality becomes a mass marketed thing, whether young minds, shall we say, could be affected if they were playing games like Battlefield in a virtual reality environment. Also, he mentioned the age rating on games, and do I think it's right that people get bought games that are aimed at a much more mature audience. By that I mean, if you're 12, 13 year old and your parents buy you a copy of an 18 rated game. Now, personally, to me, age is just a number. People mature at different rates. You can't say that on your 17th and 364th day of being alive that you are any more or less than the day afterwards when you turn 18. So I think it should be judged on a case-by-case basis. You can't do that if you're working behind a shop counter, so that's why they put the age ratings on there. So if your parents have bought you a game that is rated 16 plus, 18 plus, whatever, then it's their decision to do that. If I were a parent and I had a son of 13-year-old coming to me saying buy me Battlefield, I would say no, personally, because I think that's too young. If they were 15, 16-year-old and saying it, then I would consider it. My rationale for that is that at 16 years old you can go and join the army and get shot at for real. So yeah, what's the difference? As for virtual reality, I think it's going to add a whole different aspect to gaming. You are going to immerse yourself in an environment. If you can picture playing Battlefield 3, but being there, okay, everything around you is graphics, but you are, quote unquote, there on the ground, I think it would add a much more effective aspect to getting your brain to accept the fact that it isn't a game. The ultra realism, if you like, of actually being in the situation. Now, would that affect people more? Yes, I believe it would. It is just gaming, but the more realism you add to it and the more sensory input you get, it will change the way you think eventually. So do I think that's suitable for children? No, I don't. Anything more serious than Mario Kart or something like that, no. People of a younger age are impressionable. You're probably all jumping up and down now if you're 13 years old, but you are impressionable. You're still learning at that age. It's not a bad thing. Eventually it makes you who you will be. So you don't really want to put too many bad aspects in while people are in that phase of their life. You want to get them to be responsible and adult, and consider themselves as an individual human being who has an effect on the world around them. So yeah, you get people to learn to consider their actions and stuff at that age. Now, if you're filling them full of information that says, yeah, it's fine to shoot somebody in the face, I question what, what good that is to their development. So personally, no, is the short answer. Yeah, thanks very much for that question, Lucas. Litwin, so you got it right that time. Got another question here from Gaz Pauley, G7 Money, as you might know. And he asked a question which was pretty much along the lines of one of the things I wanted to talk about today. His question is, what are your thoughts on DICE using teases of teases? Dribbling useless Battlefield 4 non-info. We all know how advertising works and why they do hype their games, but now the community as a whole are getting fed up with this almost juvenile leg pulling. Do you know what, Gaz? You hit the nail on the head, my son. These, prepare for air, prepare for. If you haven't seen them, just Google them. They're about 20 seconds long and they hold absolutely no information whatsoever. One of them, like prepare for land or something, and it's a picture of a tank track. Okay, it's a very nicely rendered tank track, but it's a tank track. I'm sorry, but what the hell does that tell you? Battlefield 3 was released too early. Okay, it wasn't finished. They've been finishing it for a year. Well, over a year now, but up until the last patch, it was, what, 14 months, something like that. It's been fix after fix after fix because they didn't get it right. Now, if I could talk directly to EA DICE, I would say to them, for the love of all that is holy, make sure Battlefield 4 works. They have screwed up royally on a number of titles recently. I don't play it, but FIFA 2013, that was a cock up. SimCity, which has been out a couple of weeks now, oh man, did they screw that up to the point they actually gave away free games to try and placate the community because of their server shambles. But yeah, I mean, you probably know about that anyway. Basically, EA are committing suicide. I was talking to Lee from Nerf the Noob. You should check out his channel, links below in the description. Yeah, I was talking to him, I think it was yesterday, and I came up with short-term gain, long-term pain. Okay, and that is the way EA are thinking at the moment. They're doing crappy little spin-off adverts like these, prepare for a propeller. I'm sorry, but get real. We know Battlefield 4 is coming. You've already told us that. If you want to show us some visuals from Battlefield 4, or a bit of a machinima or whatever, or somebody running around in the one of the levels, then fantastic. We'll gobble that up. We'll look at it. We'll enjoy it. If you want to show me a propeller spinning underwater, you know what? You can go poke it. You really can. I think it's an absolute disgrace what they're doing to the franchise at the moment, and crap like this just proves EA are basically run by accountants. The love for gaming has gone. So yeah, you wanted a ramble? There you go. That's a ramble. So yeah, thanks for that question, Gaz. It is sucky, really, what they're doing. When they finally release it, which I think is today, maybe this evening, they're going to do a press release, if you like, of Battlefield 4. Hopefully we'll see something more substantial. If we don't, then I would venture to say that they haven't got anywhere near as far on it as perhaps they should have done. Maybe that's me just being a bit pessimistic, but considering their track record over the last 12 months or so, yeah, I think it's basically a room full of monkeys that run EA. But there you go. Chip Dancel, he asked a couple of questions. One was, tell us Well, in fact, he's asked 3 questions here. One was, tell us about your life during the war. You know what, Chip? Screw you, buddy. Screw you. I am not that old, alright? You might think I am, and yeah, I do have a few grey hairs, but I'm not like your great-great-great-grandfather. Alright, okay. Now we got that clear, we'll move on. Okay, his next question is, tits or arse? You know what, dude? Why be choosy? You know? Why choose? Why not enjoy both? And his third question is, a serious one. Well done, Chip. Will you be getting PlayStation 4, Xbox 720, Battlefield 4, etc.? Right, well, I've already made my feelings clear on Battlefield 4. You know, in getting the response to Gazzy's question. In that I'm not oversold at the moment. I want to see gameplay from the beta. I want to see, you know, people's thoughts who have had a chance to play it, and then I'll make my mind up as to whether or not I'm going to give EA any more money. It'd be an absolute shame if they don't get it right, but you know what, I'm not willing to spend 60 quid to find that out. I'll let somebody else pay the money or play the beta, and then I'll have a look. If it's good, I'll buy it. If it's mediocre or crap, then no, I'll get something else. I'll get something I enjoy. So yeah, that's the Battlefield 4 thing. As for PlayStation 4, now, good question. I wouldn't buy an Xbox, not because I hate Microsoft, not because I hate Xboxes or anything like that. I just don't find the controller comfortable on the 360. I get the impression they're probably going to have a similar controller on the 720, which means that again I won't find that particularly comfortable to play with. So, you know, one thing you might not know about me is a good number of years ago now, it was about 8 or 9 years, I used to chef, and I had an accident at work which cut 2 of the tendons on my left thumb. I've had surgery, they've been repaired, I can, you know, functionality's there. But if I hold it in too much of an awkward position for too long, it really starts to hurt. Now, I'm comfortable with a PlayStation controller. With the Xbox ones, I'm not. So, no, I wouldn't get an Xbox 720. PlayStation 4? Probably yes. Very probably yes. I mean, I've moved into the world of PC gaming. You know, it's come a long way since I used to game on a PC. But yeah, I've moved into the world of PC gaming. I'm not a great fan of FPS on PC, first-person shooters. I have got Battlefield 3 for the PC, which I got free because of the SimCity debacle. I've had a go on that, and yeah, I suck. I'm an utter noob, but yeah, it's fun. You know, it's an account that I can mess around on if I want to. Didn't cost me anything, so yeah, I can do that if I want to. I tend to play stuff that's more, shall we say, tactical on a PC, and the faster paced stuff I tend to play on PlayStation. So yeah, I will probably get a PlayStation 4. Okay, now Kenny Hunter has asked a question. It says, I'll read this word for word. It says it's already been done by voice crack, everyone else. But why not talk about your expectations for Battlefield 4? How do you think the campaign will go? Right, well, the campaign for Battlefield 3 was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's very linear, and you know, it's that type of thing campaigns normally are. But it was pretty good. It was a bit short, I'll say that, but it wasn't bad. The story was, yeah, you could have done with a bit of improvement. The voice acting was pretty good. The situations that the game put you in were, you know, pretty good. I did enjoy it. Now, if they go along the same sort of lines for Battlefield 4, yeah, I think the campaign will probably be alright. Hopefully it will be a bit longer. But yeah, it was okay in Battlefield 3. Hopefully it'll be okay in Battlefield 4. Expectation wise, right, now then, kind of depends on what platforms they're going to release it on. If they're going to release it on PlayStation 3, then I'm not expecting great things. Mainly because of the limitations of a 8-9-year-old console. It's got to the point now where really they've pushed it almost as far as it will go. I mean, you can tell that by the way it craps out on people when you're playing Battlefield 3. You know, the system just can't cope with it, and it crashes and freezes, and so I mean, you are asking a lot from the hardware inside it. If they release it for PlayStation 4, like the next gen consoles, you're basically dealing with a fairly middle of the range gaming PC when you're talking about the PS4 and the Xbox 720. They're talking about having the programming language in a far more familiar PC format. The internals of it are going to be PC internals. So I would expect sort of medium range gaming PC performance from it. It's going to be interesting if they've got it right and they can do a fairly simple port from the PC version to the console versions. Then I'm expecting good graphics. I'm expecting better frame rate. I'll be expecting, you know, more action, if you like. I mean, the Frostbite 2 engine could have gone a lot further than it did in Battlefield 3. The destruction level, I think, was pretty poor. Bad Company 2, for anybody that's played it, you know that basically if it exists you can blow it up. So if there is a building, you can level it. You got a sniper in a building, yeah, just RPG it a few times, and doesn't matter whether you hit the sniper or not, the building will drop on his head. Now that would be awesome in Battlefield 3, but as you know, there are buildings you can just pop away at all day long with a tank, and the walls won't fall down in certain places. Yeah, like the, I don't know, the warehouses on No Shah Canals. You get the snipers who are a bit geeky, and they land on the top of the warehouse. Wouldn't it be great if you could just level that warehouse? Wouldn't that be awesome? So yeah, I'd like to see that in Battlefield 4. I would like to see a bit more imagination go into the storyline, if you like. It's always US v Russia, US v Russia. It doesn't matter what game you play, it's US v Russia, US v Russia. And frankly, I'm bored of that. Medal of Honor Warfighter, when that came out, that had a much more exciting lineup, soldier-wise. It's a shame the game was crap, but you know, soldier-wise, it had a choice. You could be your own country or a country nearby, special forces, and you know, fight for your flag, if you like. I would like to see a bit more imagination go into Battlefield 4 when it comes to, you know, picking a side, if you like. Let's face it, it doesn't really matter whether you're US, Russia, or, you know, Great Britain, France, Italy, Greece, Belgium, what, you know, the Vatican bloody guard, for crying out loud. Because you're going to have the little blue or green bit over your head that shows you as friendly. You know, and vice versa. You could be fighting somebody in the same uniform as you on the other team, but they will show up with a red name, so you know they're enemy. You know, I'd like to see a bit of choice. Maybe not to the point of Medal of Honor, but you know, a bit of an option. Maybe different skins for different maps, something like that. You know, what else is there? I can sit here and reel off a whole shopping list of stuff I would love to see in Battlefield 4, but unless DICE see, you know, dollar signs attached to it, they're not going to make it. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Am I looking forward to it? Yes, I am looking forward to seeing what it's like. Will I buy it? Well, I've already explained that. If it's good, yeah, I will. So yeah, that's really pretty much all I wanted to cover today in this particular rambling. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay going on in the background there. That was my good self playing with some of the Band of Monkeys people. You know, we just had a scream. We owned. Yeah, so I enjoyed that. It's been nice to catch up with you guys, and hopefully I'll keep the ramblings going. Yeah, feel free to drop a note on my Facebook page if you've got a topic that you'd like to hear me ramble on about. You know, just drop it down, or I think you can send me a message via my page on there as well. So, you know, if you've got something you want to raise, then let me know. Okay, I'm going to disappear off now. Go and record a Nino Kuni. If you haven't checked that out, you should. Basically, if you haven't, why not? Why not? That's the question. But yeah, again, another game I enjoy. I'll get that done and get that posted up this evening. So for now, guys, it's Random signing off. Take care.